that's a good positive insecurity?
It is.
You think it's a such thing as being a positive insecurity?
Positive insecurities? Is there such thing as positive insecurities? Even though you might be in a dark tunnel, you try to encourage everybody to see the light and say, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do, even though I have this record. Right?
Because I was like, okay, does this make sense? Yeah. Is this a win-win situation? Is this worthy? Are we at that level yet where I can message somebody at like a principal status or organization?
Great content. I'll know when I'm putting out good content, and I'll know when I'm like, I probably shouldn't put that out.
Yeah.
But my biggest fear is that, man, are people going to take to this?
Because it's crazy, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can determine your own success.
For sure.
Right? That's so somebody can say anything to you, but you can really make a career out of anything.
Definitely. And so I was always thinking like, dang, man, maybe I'm really talking too much. Maybe I need to shut up. Maybe I need to not be me. Yeah. Setting up. You already know. Do you need help with the spelling?
I'm trying to play.
Now I'll press record on here.
You want to see something that's crazy?
Yeah, what's up?
How Devin feet don't touch the ground. His shoes cool though.
Wow, I thought it was something real. Yo, welcome back for another episode of Real Talk. The show where we dive into the grit, the real of every situation, every scenario, sometimes even our own personal lives. Once again, my name is Dev the Voice.
I'm Darrell Sit, founder and CEO of No Negations. You didn't drop your credentials.
I didn't drop my credentials. Host, creator, content creator of the Outrighteous podcast, host of events, many different things, multi-digital media guru. Yo, so today's episode is sponsored by Phoenix Fitness. Now, what today's topic is about is insecurities, okay? How do those insecurities affect your personal life? How do they affect your professional life mainly? How do they affect you in business? Now, since we talk about insecurities, one of the biggest things that I just realized is that my feet weren't touching the ground. And that hit home. Because I'm so used to my feet not touching the ground that I didn't realize that my feet weren't touching the ground.
No, but really though, like, because we used to make fun of you a lot. In like high school, did your height ever...
It's really crazy that my feet not touching the ground right now, man.
But in high school, you know, did that ever bother you? You know,
nah, because you know what's cool about insecurities? People can make you so insecure about them that at one point you get numb to it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sure.
So by the time I got to high school, I already knew what it was. Craziest thing is that I think actually it probably would affect me. It affected me more in college and as a young adult because I was trying to shoot my shot at women that were much taller.
It affected me.
Yeah,
because I used to be really, really short too.
Yeah, you were shorter than me.
I was
a little dude.
Yeah,
actually, I remember I was gonna bully you. I was gonna remember because remember I had
no. That never happened. That never happened. But yeah, my height I used to be insecure about my height, especially being an athlete.
For sure.
You know, coaches and teachers and people always told me that I was too small to do certain things.
Right.
And it hindered me on the field. It hindered me in school.
Yeah. Just
in everyday life because I was like, well, I'm too small. I'm not big enough.
Right.
And so I feel like it held me back from accomplishing some things that I wanted to accomplish, not only in sports but also in school.
Right.
Because I think that's kind of led to the reason why I was so shy. Maybe when I grew up, that's when I got more outgoing. But
and that's interesting though because No Negations itself is pretty much about quieting that self-doubt and almost quieting those insecurities as well.
And we kind of got started based off of the insecurities and what people told us we can't do and can't do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole premise behind it is to create reminders for yourself that no matter what circumstance, if you're short, tall, fat, small, ugly, you can achieve, you can accomplish. So
seriously, yeah. I mean, and even to see you write an entire sentence that's grammatically correct really has been something that is super amazing to me. But let's dive into that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that No Negations pretty much rooted from insecurities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to everybody who's streaming this episode, watching this episode, whether you listen to it at work, watching it at home, I really want you to think about that because how D just said No Negation started from insecurities. My career path in digital media also started from an insecurity. So one of the big things that I was really insecure about from grade school to high school, and you would know a lot about high school, was people always told me like, yo, you talk too much. Yo, you need to stop talking. Yo, I'm going to put you out of the class if you keep talking. You need to figure out a way where you stop talking. And so I was always thinking like, dang, man, maybe I'm really talking too much. Maybe I need to shut up. Maybe I need to not be me, almost in a sense.
And that's crazy.
And that's crazy, right? Yeah. And so I had so many people telling me, yo, Dev, stop talking, to where I started thinking like, okay, I need to not be me. I need to be quiet. I need to try to not say anything.
Bro, just think about it though, because the outrighteous media, that's all you do is talk.
It's talk. Yeah.
You do the podcast, you do hosting events.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you shut up. Like,
right.
where would you be at?
Not where I want to be. And so just to see how, and literally, D, one of the things that we always tell each other is like a lot can change in a year. And just to see how, after I graduated from, well, when I got into college and I'm like, wait a minute, you telling me I can have a career where I
can get paid to talk?
Yeah. And so I graduated from college and I began to lay out my career path with just talking and communicating. Now I'm looking back at everybody who told me shut up. Like,
because it's crazy, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can determine your own success.
For sure.
Right? So somebody can say anything to you, but you can really make a career out of anything now.
Definitely.
So talking, being shy, you can make a career out of it. So whatever you're insecure, or I don't want to say insecure, whatever you're good at, I think we should highlight on that. I was watching the video of somebody talking about whatever you're gifted at, do that.
Right.
But I don't agree with that necessarily, because just because we may be gifted in doing something don't mean that's something we like to do.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, because for me, for instance, like growing up, my parents used to always say baseball is my best sport.
Right.
Like baseball was it.
Yeah.
But I didn't like baseball.
Right.
Like, even though I might have been better at baseball, I like running track and playing football.
Right.
So that's what I focused on doing. And because that's what I wanted to do, I was successful at my level in doing that. Yeah. And this is the same thing. Like, you may not necessarily look at what you're gifted at, but what you're good at. So it comes down to perseverance versus belief. Yeah. So a lot of times we believe we can do certain things, but we don't have the drive to fuel that belief. Right.
So I got a question for you. So do you feel like, so you talked about how you were insecure, which came up with No Negations. I talked about how I was insecure, and that ended up being the Outrighteous podcast and Outrighteous media. But do you feel that usually when people try to make us insecure on things, that's them necessarily trying to change who we are?
So to an extent, it kind of is. Because you talk. That's what you do. Right. You know, I don't know if being short is something you do.
I do it well, though. I do it well.
But that's what you do. So if somebody tells you to shut up, there's, to an extent, it's telling you to stop doing what you do.
Right. Yeah.
So do what you do.
And so that's interesting to me, because one of the things that I would tell people, just from me sort of exploring one of the things that I'm insecure about, is to, if somebody's making you feel insecure about something, it's fine to feel like, okay, let me work on it. Let me work on, because sometimes somebody might be giving you some type of critique that you may really need. Now, I'm not saying that when teachers told me stop talking, it wasn't during class and I shouldn't have been talking. I for sure shouldn't have been talking. Yeah. But sometimes people might try to make you feel insecure about something, or they may unintentionally make you feel insecure about something. But I think that it's up to the person that's feeling that insecure feeling to explore that a little bit.
Just look at the other side of it, okay? So you talk, that's what you do. Right. I'm shy, that's my personality. Right. Well, I was kind of shy. I'm a little bit more open now. But that's our personalities. What about something that, like, people have no choice but to really have to face head on, like a criminal record? Definitely. Like being insecure about having a criminal record, or being insecure about things that happen within their family. How do you deal with those type of insecurities, in your opinion? Yeah, well, and that's interesting, because I think you touched on it a little bit, but almost like you got to spin your insecurity to work for you. So I'm gonna tie this all together. But so say you have a criminal record, and you're struggling to find a job. Maybe you jump on YouTube, maybe you jump on Instagram, and you become an influencer and talk about your experience having a criminal record, trying to find a job. Or maybe you become a motivational speaker and try to, even though you might be in a dark tunnel, you try to encourage everybody to see the light and say, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do, even though I have this record. It's interesting because
So this is what I wanted to tie into it, and I hope that everybody can connect to this. But so everybody who knows me knows like I'm a big rap fan, right? Even from back in the early 2000s, and you listen to artists like Eminem. Eminem was good at roasting himself. Like Eminem would jump on his song and he would roast himself. And even if you watch the movie 8 Mile, during his freestyle battles, he would roast himself, and then people would be like, "Oh," and then he would win the battle. But that is a prime example of somebody using something that they're insecure about and turning it against not necessarily their opponent, but against the person or the object that's working against them. And so
it's almost like, I'm just gonna use your example. I'm not throwing shots.
Right.
I know that I talk a lot. I know that I'm shorter, but I already know that. So I'm gonna do this anyway. So then the person on the other hand can't really be like, "Oh, this is that," because you already acknowledged that.
Right.
That's a good positive insecurity.
It is.
You think it's a such thing as being a positive insecurity?
Positive insecurities? Is there such thing as positive insecurities?
I thought about that.
Yeah, man, and that's real. Now, one of the things that is interesting to me that I often find myself still struggling with. Now, I'm still in the early process of digital media and paving my road for that. But and I want to know how you feel about this. But one of the things that I find myself still struggling with now professionally is being insecure about the content that I put out. And being insecure about. And so let me be specific about this. So I'll know when I'm putting out great content. I'll know when I'm putting out good content. And I'll know when I'm like, I probably shouldn't put that out.
Yeah.
But my biggest fear is that, man, are people going to take to this?
Bro, that's the same thing I feel. Because I even said, I think on the last episode, you know, when we came out with No Negations, it took me a couple months just to introduce the thought to people.
Right.
Because I didn't know if it made sense. I didn't know how people was going to gravitate to it. And even now, like, I try to contact people before they contact me for like speaking events and stuff like that. Yeah. So it takes. I was sending an email to a principal to see if we could come speak at the school. Yeah. It took me 2.5 weeks. You get blown up.
Yeah. That my little girl. She's calling me, but yeah.
But all right, we're gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Yeah. But it took me 2.5 weeks to hit the send on that email. Right. Because I was like, okay, does this make sense? Yeah. Is this a win-win situation? Is this worthy? Are we at that level yet where I can message somebody at like a principal status or organization and see if we can come in and speak? So that's the type of insecurities that I was dealing with. Just
in the early process of No Negations.
No, that's now. Yeah. Sending those emails is like, are we good enough? That type of thing. Right. Yeah. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah. So you know what? I want to come right back into that, but first we got to pay homage to the sponsor for today's episode.
Phoenix Fitness.
Phoenix Fitness is today's sponsor. So once again, Phoenix Fitness is a company that's dedicated to help individuals achieve their fitness goals, okay? If you're a hardworking mother, or you're a hardworking father, or maybe you a hardworking couple, all right? And you're trying to lose some pounds together for the summer, you're trying to get right, all right? You're going down to Edgewater, you're going to South Beach, you're going to Los Angeles this summer, hit up Phoenix Fitness. Even if you're an athlete, a lot of people who stream this show, they're athletes, and they're looking to take themselves to the next level, whether that next level was college, whether that next level is professional, minor league, whether that next level is high school. Hit up Phoenix Fitness.
And I like Phoenix Fitness because doesn't matter what sport you're playing, for the athletes, of course.
For sure.
They gear the workouts to be specific for that sport. So if you're a volleyball player, you're going to do sport-specific exercises, and football, same thing. So that's another good thing about Phoenix Fitness.
Definitely. Yeah. And then also, D, what's their social media tag?
You can follow them on Instagram at trainer_hood, trainer_Willis, on Twitter at Phoenix Fitness 20. Snapchat, Phoenix Fitness 2, and I can't see that last one. So
and the YouTube is Phoenix Fitness OH. So that's Phoenix Fitness O, capital H.
And we'll tag you in the description so you can go there and check them out too.
So check out Phoenix Fitness, all right? That's it. That's all we see. Check it out, all right? So D, back to the content. So we was talking about insecurities, how it affect your professional life. And so one of the big things that like really stood out to me that you did, and I think we may have talked about it before, but when you talked about visiting that prison. Going into that situation, of course, well, you know, you have never been in that type of environment before, but like the entire message has to change versus delivering it to somebody who isn't.
And it's crazy because we really believe in our message at No Negation. We believe in it, you know, strong belief triggers the mind to find a way to succeed. We go by that, but it's a totally different point of view when you see somebody listen to your message and then able to relate it directly to their life right there in front of you.
Right.
So we went down to a prison in the Marietta area, Ohio area.
Yeah.
And we spoke, and I was on the stage. We spoke to like 60 to 75 inmates. And these guys range from murderers to rapists, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was up there talking about perseverance versus belief. And I even said when we first started off that, it doesn't matter. I can come up there and say anything. Yeah. But prisoners are probably going to have the biggest obstacle from when they come out of prison. So I was talking about perseverance versus belief, and how you need that belief needs to have some type of fuel.
Right.
So after I got done speaking, I was talking to one of the prisoners, and he was telling me how he's in there for 22 years and still has 6 years left. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dang, that's a lot.
Still has 6 years left.
Yeah. But
while he was in prison, he got his nursing degree. He was going to school and getting his education. Yeah. But it made me think, these guys they have their situation, they have their circumstance, and they're still utilizing all the tools that they have in front of them to be successful. Yeah. Us, on the other hand, we have all these things in front of us, but we choose not to utilize that. Right. So how can somebody in that circumstance use all of those tools, or use the minimal tools that they have, and we have everything to our expense, and we don't?
Definitely. And that's crazy because it's almost, he's an outlier, because I think that insecurity definitely, the root of insecurity comes from circumstance. So, when I'm thinking about times where I got made fun of throughout school and my education, it was because, I didn't come from a family that was like, we're going to put a big thing on fashion or clothes. Like, you're going to always go to school fresh. It was like, you're going to go to school whatever we can afford. And so that was my environment. That was my situation. So then when I went to school and my environment was everybody was fresh, and they're like, whoa, what are you wearing? Da, da, da. I'm like mad insecure about that. And so to see that person be in the environment that they were in and still rise above that insecurity is dope. And one of the things, and just again to tie it into being professional, one of the things that I find myself not struggling with actually, I don't know where in life I learned this. Actually, I'll say this. I learned this through playing sports and being on relays and running track and field. So in a relay, it's 4 people, right? And that's the only way it can work. If you don't have 4 people, you can't run the relay. Get DQ'd. And there was a time where I wasn't on the track at the time I was supposed to be on the track, so I had 3 people, and we got DQ'd. Okay, that has nothing to do with this. Just wanted to share that.
Ridiculous, actually. Don't know how anyone can do that.
So, whenever, No Negations has a team, Outrighteous has a team, and whenever I'm putting pieces together, I'm literally putting pieces together that are different from me. So, what is this person good at that I'm not good at? What viewpoints does this person have that I know for a fact I don't share or that I don't agree with? Yeah. And even a lot of people look at that like, well, why would I want to make something with somebody I don't agree with? Why would I want to work with somebody that might be much better than me, or somebody that I might have to coach up? But literally, from my experience in business and from my experience of producing content for people to enjoy, that's the way that you do things, because everybody levels up when that happens. Yeah. And so as far as No Negations and being a team, did you ever have those insecurities of feeling like, dang, I might bring this person on and they might be a better salesman than me, or this person might be a better speaker than me?
I wouldn't call them insecurities. Yeah. Because I brought my father on. Right. And he's a really, really good speaker, and then Ayla's on too. And Ayla is very good with the hands-on type stuff. Right. I never thought of it as an insecurity, because it's like that's helping me get better at what I want to do too. For sure. So, but I can definitely understand how someone could look at it as an insecurity. So with your team, this person, and then they're progressing and doing it. It may be an insecurity. It might be a little different, but you could be an insecurity for me. Right. Because we've been boys forever. And they haven't got this content out. They haven't got this going. Right. What am I doing? But at the same time, it's like checks and balances. I guess that's a good positive insecurity. It is. You think it's a such thing as being a positive insecurity? Positive insecurities? Is there a such thing as positive insecurities? I think that there is a such thing. I would say. Would that even be insecurities?
I think that it is, though. It is. It is a positive insecurity. Think about it this way. People might be making bad choices in life, right? And they know that choice is bad. And somebody like me is saying, hey man, you don't need to do that. You don't need to be in those streets, or you don't need to be wasting your time while you're in school, or you don't need to be stealing from your job, just anything, right? And if that person is doing it to them, they're like, nah, I'm fine. But if I'm constantly telling them, hey, if my message is, yo, stop doing that, yo, you don't need to do that, yo, you don't need to do that, and then they begin to feel that like, man, they're not gonna kick it with me anymore if I keep doing this, or I might lose a friend if I keep doing this. In a sense, they're becoming insecure about their actions.
What they're doing. Wow.
Yeah. And so
I kind of want to bring that question to the people too.
Let's bring it. So
in our comments, please comment, do you think there is a such thing as positive insecurities? And explain your answers.
Explain
you
your
can post
answers,
it somewhere.
And post them. And when you post them, you know D can't read, so make sure that you put that put that dash in between the words so he can sound it out. But yeah, I do think that there is a such thing as positive.
I can read it. The only reason why I didn't read our sponsor thing is because you got better eyes.
You're right, because your contacts, you gotta get them readjusted. You gotta take your glasses off to see better. But I do think that there's a such thing as positive insecurities. What about you?
When you explain it like that, I think so. At first, I wasn't sure. But
I mean,
I don't know. It's still like up in the air.
Would there be another terminology for it that you could think of?
Like not at the top of my head.
Yeah, like I can't really think of a different terminology for. I mean, is that the same thing as like positive reinforcement? No, because positive reinforcement would be more like I'm uplifting you, you know, and supporting you.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. That's why I want to leave that question for them.
Yeah, so we're going to leave that question for the smarter people. People who know more. The better readers. The better spellers.
Score better on ACT.
Yeah. So that's how we feel about some of our insecurities. Do you got any last comments for the people, man?
No, that's it. Maybe whatever your insecurity is about, just what you need to focus on is your goal and the end goal and what you want to achieve in life. Don't let circumstances determine how successful you are in life, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can determine how successful you really are. So don't let your insecurities or whatever hinder you from your growth. That's my ending.
And I think what I would say, just to tag on to that, is if you feel insecure about something, explore that. How we mentioned earlier. Figure out, why do I feel insecure about this? You know, is it a reason that I'm making up in my head? Is it a part of my environment? Is it my family?
I don't want to go off on too much.
No, go ahead.
But do you think it comes down to the company that you keep too? So like my insecurities may be because of the group that I'm hanging out with. But if I switch my group of people where that's the norm, does that change?
I think that it does change, because when you look at it like this, right? So I'm keep this extremely transparent. A while ago, I was calling you, and maybe even a few times, I've called you about a friend that I had that I knew wasn't good company, right? And I'm like, yo, man, this is my boy. We've been friends for years, but I feel like if I keep kicking this dude, something is going to happen to me. Whether that something is me getting in trouble with the law, or me losing my life, or me just making a very irresponsible decision. And this was somebody I had known for years. And I became insecure in our friendship, because I was like, if I stop kicking with this dude, he might think like, dang, Dev ain't real, they're fake, they're just like everybody else. And I became insecure about being in certain environments, and being afraid in certain environments, being very cautious of the actions that I would do, and even like I wouldn't even introduce certain people to that friend. So I do think that insecurity can be a part of the company you keep. I wouldn't have started Outrighteous Podcast and Outrighteous Media if you wasn't like, yo, what's up with the podcast? When that's coming out? Like, when you said that to me, we were at a No Negations event, and when you said that to me, I'm like, dang, let me shoot to the crib and let me just make this happen. And then let me shoot the Best Buy and just buy this equipment and just get started on it. So yeah, insecurities can definitely be the company you keep. And even on a lighter note, and I don't know if we're going to keep this part or not, but think about it like this, right? That one ugly person that hang with like 6 cute people, they think they cute. They think they cute. And we all know that person. Hey, I might be that person. I might be that person.
Hey, so you gotta reflect on yourself. Are you that ugly person?
Are you that ugly person, man? If you are, hit up Phoenix Fitness.
Yeah, Phoenix Fitness, they're helping everybody accomplish their goals. Whether they're ugly We're not.
For sure. But yeah, so my last advice for this episode would just be to really explore what's making you insecure. Where is that insecurity coming from? Is that insecurity something you could spin to work for you, like Eminem did, like we did?
Mm-hmm.
And really just try your best to defeat that self-doubt, that insecure voice that you hear in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, thank you for streaming these episodes. Make sure you like, comment, review, DM. Don't DM him.
Don't DM him.
Don't DM me either.
We'll explain that in another episode. But really though, we're 3 episodes in. We appreciate all the views, the streaming, people commenting.
The people who have hit us up and let us know that they really enjoy this content.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot do this without you all. So shouts out to everybody who has really been supporting us and really sharing this content and just DMing us, letting us know.
And I lied. Actually, you can DM both of us. Every week, somebody has DM'd me like a question. Yeah. I take it to Instagram and bring it to people. So
for sure.
If you want to DM either one of us with a question, we'll take it right to our Instagram and see what the people think.
As long as the question ain't like, oh, Div, what's your number? You mad handsome? I know your feet don't touch the ground, but your shoe game crazy.
No, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Hey, literally, y'all know Devin got on heels right now to make him look taller.
I got on platform. But thank you all for streaming this episode. Until next time, we getting out of here, man.
Yeah.